Take you back to this story now. Police union POPCRU says a study shows that police officers are 5 times more likely to commit suicide in comparison to their counterparts globally. There's a background to this. Yesterday, a police officer shot his nurse girlfriend at the Tembisa hospital before turning the gun on himself. He didn't die, though, and is being treated in hospital. eNCA senior reporter Barry Bateman still with us. Barry, I know a little earlier on you said that the person that you'd spoken to had said you shouldn't be looking at whether or not police get assistance, but look at the fact that at the end of the day, it's a crime, right? But do they get assistance? This question always comes up when we cover such stories. Do police actually get the assistance, psychosocial assistance?
The short answer, Maseko, is yes, they do. But is it adequate? So that's going deeper into what is available there. Now, I've spoken to POPCRU's Richard Mamabolo this morning, a former police psychologist, Gerard Labuskaghni, and the answer simply, again, is no. Unfortunately not. It is not adequate. And this is for various reasons. The one reason that's cited is that apparently in about 2012, the government put in place an occupational specific dispensation so that psychologists, for example, or certain rare skills within government would get given an additional bonus, if you want, on their salary to retain them, so to keep them from going into private sector. All of government, different departments, these specialists were given this additional, sometimes 10,000 rand on their salary, but not the police. They were not being included. So Gerard Labuskaghni explained to me that there was a massive exodus of qualified psychologists from the police, sometimes just parallel moves to another government department, which left the police experiencing a brain drain. So he says you've got people in positions where they're called psychologists by title, but they're not adequately trained or prepared to be able to deal with. That's the one aspect. Richard Mamabolo explaining how it's also about how the system works in the police for promotions. One of the aspects that will be studied or looked at is your mental well-being. So the difficulty from police officers, if they go and complain or they go themselves to seek help for whatever difficulty they might be having, the belief is that this will hinder my opportunity to work myself up through the system in the years. So they simply don't report it. And the other aspect is that the services are more reactionary than proactive. So they would be responding to incidents like the one we're seeing now. We're going to hear the police coming out and say we've got these services and so on, but it is reactive as opposed to being proactive and identifying police officers who might have specific challenges.
Now, Barry, there's something also that they say happened, which happens with normal citizens, right? Not just police, where in GBV crimes, especially where it's spousal, a spouse killing a spouse, usually the spouse threatens the other a couple of times before, etc., especially in this incident where they say that she had said to him she wants to leave, and he threatened to shoot her before. So are there any, avenues that a partner can use to report a police officer for threatening to use his gun on her?
From what I can gather, nothing specific for police officers. But we just look at previous examples, and Gerard Labuskaghni was giving me an example, because a victim of gender-based violence can go to the police and report it. But here you're reporting a crime to, quite often, the perpetrator's colleagues. And there's that concern, well, will they do anything about it? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Labuskaghni gave me this example of a couple of years ago where a police officer had gunned down his spouse. On his person, then he committed suicide. On his person, they found the docket, the criminal complaint that she had laid against him that very morning. So he had access to the very system that she was going to try and get that kind of support. So it's not as easy as, and I'm not going to say gender reporting these issues are easy for the members of the public, because we know it is a problem at our client service centres for women to go and seek help. But it appears it's far more difficult for the spouses of police officers. And again, you bring that aspect in, they have access to firearms and those kind of things, which makes it considerably more difficult.
Definitely. Oh, what a challenge. Thank you very much, senior reporter Barry Bateman there speaking to us. This is quite a devastating story, and I just don't know what we can do to actually see it, see these kind of incidents be stopped.